Today we're going to teach you guys how to make one of these. Ooh. Ah. First step is going to be selection of your wood. So I went back to our log pile and we have this all slabbed and milled on our property. We mill everything at 2 1/4 inches thick. But being a homeowner, you don't have to have this wood. You can go to local Home Depot, Lowe's, your lumber yard. Maybe you even have a sawmill guy that you're friends with and get yourself some of this wood. So I'm going to pull out my handy dandy grinder. Love this tool. I'm just going to go over the wood and just give me a cleaner surface to be able to put my pattern on. If you would like, you guys, sure, talented enough, you could freehand your own, or at this point of the video, you can go ahead and pause it, take a screenshot, send it via email to your local printing shop if you would like to go ahead and use my image. And then at that point, you can have it sized to whatever size you need. Okay, everybody, don't forget ear protection. I just want to say one thing about safety. You see these little ties here that come off your hoodies? These are a big no-no when working with tools. I'm going to go ahead and put my ear protection on, use my jigsaw once again, and cut it out. So now that I got it cut out, we're going to need to make a base for it so it doesn't blow over. Same thing, we're back to the 2 1/4 inches. These are just my scraps I save. You do want something heavy so that this, when I get it all done and I put it on the base, that it's going to be pretty secure. So at this point, you can go ahead and you could just leave it square. If you want, you have a router, you can maybe put a nice little decorative routered edge on it. But here, we love the wonky edge. So this is my gouge. It's a power gouge, and it's made by Arbortech. And I converted it over onto my grinder. We use a torch just to make the colors pop out of the grain of the wood. Well, we're at the point where every woodworker's favorite part, sanding. I'm going to go ahead and use my disc sander made by DeWalt. I love this tool. It's fast. It makes quick work of the sanding, and I hate to sand, so the faster the better. I went ahead and I used my orbital sander with a 150 grit just to kind of smooth it out. I like to take my sander and I kind of go on the edges. I hate that crisp cut look, so I kind of do a little round over just to kind of give it some character. There's many ways to go ahead and attach your tree to your base. Sometimes I have used L brackets. I prefer to find the center of my base, and then I'm going to trace my stump on here, and I'm going to use a router. That way it'll sit down in. I can use some wood glue, and then I can throw some screws in just to give it that extra protection. I've got my plunger adder set up with my flat bottom bit. You make this woodworking world go round. So I'm going to just go easy, just take a little bit of wood away each time. I don't want to go plunging down in there and trying to hog out a bunch of wood. So a little bit at a time. I went ahead and measured this for you. So the total height is 34 inches tall. I routed the hole to 1 inch deep. Let's give it a try and see what it looks like. Now, I don't worry a lot about the edges because I'm going to put a dark stain on here. So, and this is going to be glued and screwed in. At this point, you can use your creativity and paint whatever colors you want. You can use Rust-Oleum 2 times. You can go and use your folk art paint, which is acrylic. And this is a way to get rid of some of your product you have laying around on your shelf. So I went into the shop. You know, you usually have a project and you had to stain your deck. Well, of course, everybody saves that little bit that's left in the can and figured, oh, I'll come back to that one day and try to figure something out. So now is your chance to go on your shelf, pull out that little bit of paint that you have left and use it up. So I found Olympic stain, deck stain. That's what I'm going to stain my base with. Okay, I went ahead and let this dry for a little bit. And I just don't like when it's just flat. Like the green is just flat. So I'm going to go ahead with my little orbital sander and I'm just going to nick off the green just to show through the natural color. For assembly, I've got this all leveled out and ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and pop my tree out, use some wood glue, give it a generous squeeze. Whoop. Set it back in, kind of steady it. Now it should stand there by itself, hopefully. These are the screws that I'm using. The reason I put the screws in the side is just, it is going to give it some strength, but it's going to hold it in place because I'm going to take another screw. I'm going to lay my project down. And I'm going to run a screw up through the bottom just to make sure that it's not going to fall apart. Okay, it's all assembled, ready to go. Now watch this magic. I'm using an oil base finish. So when I went and scuffed it, it kind of still looks a little blah. This is where the color is going to start popping. So with the finish on it, you can now see how the green of the wood is coming through. But I like to put lights on it. It's like a little battery pack, some lights. I'm just going to use a little drywall screw. This brand of lights are real nice because it does give you a little hook on there that I can just go ahead and screw it right in. I'm going to go ahead and use a staple gun just to kind of tack it in place. Be very careful not to hit the wires. I'm just going to start stringing it. Kind of catch it in all the little creases. That way I don't have to use the staple gun. So I went to my local Hobby Lobby and I was able to just get some greenery, a little bit of white, a little bit of pearls, and this metal sign. At this point, like I said, you might go into your craft stash and, find some other stuff that you like, but this is what I had. So I just start arranging things, put a little bit of color behind it, put my piece back over top, say, oh, okay, well, maybe I think it needs another little piece of white, just to give it. So then once I kind of get it arranged under there, try that again, put that there, perfect. I'm just going to go in with my staple gun, tack it down. And it makes it nice because this is wood. So instead of using a ton of hot glue, I find this works the best. And you're not going to be able to see it. Good for the little bit of decorations. I'm just going to go ahead and put some hot glue on the back just to give me some extra stability. I'll lay that down, give it a second, hold on to it. But because this has wire on it, I'm going to go ahead and try to catch the wire with a staple. I added a little piece of wire onto my bulb. Now, guys, a Christmas tree is not a tree until you add at least one bulb. I'm going to go ahead and tack this down. Voila. I have a little piece of material. I'm going to tie a real quick bow and tack that on just to hide my staple. Just my little homespun bow. Little hot glue. We're going to tack this up here. It's going to hide the staples. I'm going to hold it for a second. Bring my little wire down so we can see that there is some light there. Everything's all finished up. So guys, if you liked our project, please like and subscribe below and help us out. Merry Christmas!